Today I have gathered together the scariest collection of classic TV goofs I have found for the TV Crazy Man channel, featuring
strange, the bizarre, the unexpected.
Sure, we know that goofs usually have a simple explanation, hidden crewmen, maybe reused stock footage, but what if we were meant to see these strange anomalies as part of a larger, more terrifying subplot we just missed, or worse, maybe no one really knows what the real explanation is. Gilligan's Island may have held secrets as deep as ABC's Lost series.
Dude, that's ridiculous.
Only one way to find out.
Let's get started.
Yes, sir!
When Gilligan creates a glue the castaways use to patch up the ship, the entire ship hilariously comes apart, which even when I was a kid I didn't think made much sense, as of course the parts that are nailed down are coming apart. Not just coming apart, they're flying off into the air. Of course, like I said, this is very hilarious. I mean, it cracks me up. But the goof comes when you notice that the boards that are supposed to be flying off of the ship are actually being thrown at the ship.
Believe it or not.
Like a ghost ship that refuses to die, the minnow would reappear in long-distance shots towards the end of the season, at least a couple of times, or possibly even more.
Believe it or not.
But this time I'm going to make you admit that you don't believe you either.
In the episode The Big Gold Strike, watch what happens to Gilligan when he falls into the mine. It's unbelievable.
I wonder if it could be down.
Did you catch it? At the last second before Gilligan should disappear naturally, it's almost as if he just, poof, completely disappears before he's out of camera range. Was the camera not fast enough to catch that last second? Or did Gilligan just disappear out of existence for a millisecond?
What will we do? Mommy!
In that same episode, when the castaways are trying to sail off in a life raft, a mysterious man can be seen in the background on the left side. It can't be the skipper because he's in the water, but it sort of looks like he has a hat like the skipper, doesn't it?
Believe it or not.
Wait a minute, who are those people? That's actually the three castaways from the unaired pilot that were replaced. Remember, this is from the first aired episode, so they shouldn't be here. But for some reason they are. It's almost as if Gilligan's Island is either in the Bermuda Triangle or the Twilight Zone.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination.
Yes, believe it or not, we almost had a very different professor and a couple of very, very different girls. Strange to imagine a world where these actors weren't a part of Gilligan's Island. In The Adventures of Superman, check out this ghostly manifestation of a man not included in the scene. Maybe he was managing the smoke effects, or maybe not. On the episode The Haunted Lighthouse, you might be tempted into thinking you're seeing a ghost to your right, but it's really shadows of the actress that's playing Jimmy Olsen's aunt on the backgrounds that are supposed to be empty space. Unless I'm wrong and they're really outside, then that would mean there's a ghostly shadow floating across the sky.
Golly, what'll Superman do now?
I don't know, Jimmy. I don't know.
In the very funny episode, The Bully of Dry Gulch, Lois and Jimmy are up against some mean cowboys in a town that looks like it came out of a TV Western. In one outdoor scene, the same woman wearing a red shirt keeps popping up. Here she comes the first time. She looks like she is genuinely curious as to what these dudes are doing here. Here she is again a few seconds later, but now she somehow got way back behind Jimmy. Is this lady like a ghost or an alien? How did she get way back there? Here she comes again. She's still looking really curious. I wonder if she was an alien observer that is able to teleport across time and space.
What?
So you think nothing ever really spooky happened with the Three Stooges? Think again. Check out this from Malice in the Palace. There's something weird trying to shoo the cat away. I read that this is a finger trying to get the cat to get out of the scene, but I can't see like where the arm and the hand is and everything. This is just weird. Well, if your cat has ever screamed for no apparent reason, this could have something to do with it. If you thought surely there's nothing spooky about Wonder Woman, just wait and see, and the spookiest is yet to come. In this scene, it looks like a stunt woman is being launched in the air, and then they're cutting away to Linda Carter for the close-up. But what the heck is that dark figure in the background? Is it Bigfoot? I mean, is it a ghost? Is it just a stagehand helping her be launched into the air? What is going on here? You be the judge. When Wonder Woman's running after Rick Springfield, who wishes he had Jesse's girl, even though he has Linda Carter chasing him, makes no sense, Wonder Woman jumps onto a trampoline before leaping off after him. I tell you, something ain't right with that boy. Seems like he ought to turn around the other direction. Well, anyway, notice when Wonder Woman leaps off the trampoline, you can clearly see that there's nobody else around, except for that arm that comes out of nowhere. Again, you can clearly see that there's nobody around. You can see all the way around the trampoline. But then this arm pops out of nowhere to the right. It almost seems to coincide with Wonder Woman's leap. The Munsters was all fun and games, right? Couldn't be any real ghosts on the Munsters, could there?
It's my head broken.
Look to your left. It's actually kind of spooky. Now, in the real world, it could be crewmen, but in the context of the show, maybe it's ghosts. There's another ghost in Autumn Crocus. Again, look to your left.
I'm coming, dear. I'm coming.
Yeah, I know I said maybe it's a crewman, maybe in the context of this show it's a ghost, but what if it's a real life ghost? We just don't know.
And I think we owe it to our country to keep our sense of humor.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!
In this scene, George approaches Bert and Ernie.
Hi, Ernie. Hiya, George. Hi, George.
Now check out the lady with the hat right behind Bert. Here she comes again. Now she's back again and she appears to be falling behind Violet. Now she's right behind Violet. She passes Ernie's cab and then she's gone. And yet again, she walks by Ernie's taxi cab. Is it possible that the lady with the hat was an angel? From the pilot episode, our two heroes are on a very busy street. Notice the crowd behind Starsky. Then suddenly, poof! Where did they go? You know, I think it's quite possible that Starsky and Hutch may have been an extended episode of the Twilight Zone, instead of just a police drama.
They're very likely turning over in their graves, or worse, getting out of them.
Speaking of ghosts, this next one is really strange. Keep in mind that there's not supposed to be anybody in the back seat at this time.
You're traveling through another dimension.
So let's go back in time to the 80s, when one man could make a difference. Let's look at hidden drivers, hands that come out of nowhere, and people that just aren't there. In the episode, Good Day at White Rock, Michael and Kit are alone. Or are they?
Now don't go getting any anxiety attacks.
In the episode, Just My Bill, Kit has a passenger but no driver. But you can see a bodiless hand moving a steering wheel.
Speak English, huh?
In the episode Night Moves, you can see somebody hiding out in Kit. No, that's not Michael because he was standing outside of the car at the time. In the episode Soul Survivor, Michael Knight is investigating and somebody is sneaking up on him. If you look to your right, you'll see somebody at the very end that's not part of the scene. As Michael fumbles with an old floppy disk, you can see that man staring into the monitor.
Hello. What the devil's going on?
See if you can spot the hidden man in the episode Race for Life. You could say this is very unusual.
The ultraphonic analyzer indicates there's absolutely nothing unusual.
Okay, but what about this? In Night of 1,000 Devils, Michael Knight is thrown into a hole and he gets a spooky hand. Here's one from one of my favorites, the Bionic Woman. Second season episode, The Night Demon, has a sort of a Scooby-Doo vibe going on as Jamie discovers an empty monster costume she later wears herself to scare the same crooks that were using it before in earlier scenes. Keep in mind, Jamie herself wears this costume later, so we know it's empty right now, or it's supposed to be. But if you look carefully, you can see the creature's eyes are actually moving. Now that's spooky.
Somebody's playing games.
The Twilight Zone.
In the episode Where Is Everybody?, Earl Holliman from the series Policewoman and the movie The Sons of Katie Elder plays Mike Ferris, a man who is lost in a small town where he appears to be the last man in the whole world. Or is he? Even though Ferris is completely alone in the small town, in the phone booth you can actually see a reflection of someone right next to Ferris. In one scene there's a lit cigar in a local jail, but no one is around to claim it. Could this be the man? And why can't Ferris see him?
There is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man.
Anybody here?
He may not want to know the answer to that.
Hey! Hey!
If you look closely at the glass, you can see ghostly figures hovering back and forth. Figures that Ferris cannot see apparently. Are these mannequins moving positions between shots? Or is this some sort of optical illusion?
Now you think about that now, because this is the Twilight Zone.
In the episode Night Call, an elderly lady is being harassed from a phone call that seems to be originating from the cemetery.
Hello?
Hello.
When she is sitting in her car at the cemetery, there's a person's reflection visible in the car window. Now that's spooky. Sometimes Goofs just make a show even better. Or maybe Rod Serling meant for us to see that years later. The episode Stopover in a Quiet Town. A couple is completely alone in a town with no memory of how they got there. It's a very spooky episode, and even spookier when you notice that in this scene, way over to the left, someone is moving. It's really hard to see, but there is definitely somebody there. In that same episode, crew members are visible for just a split second as they pan from the characters to Rod Serling's narrative. It's either that or ghosts.
Good thing I don't believe in ghosts.
Well, neither do I, but let's get out of here anyway.
There's been some spooky stuff known to happen even on the Andy Griffith Show. But Andy and Barney are in a barn getting ready to put Barney on a horse. It's all part of a plot to trick the Darlings so Charlene will get back with her husband Dud. But if they are alone, then where did that hand come from?
Strange, the bizarre, the unexpected.
Believe it or not.
Even the Dukes of Hazzard has a bout with the unexplained. From the episode Daisy's Shotgun Wedding involves a hilarious fight scene between Bo Duke and future Night Court star Richard Mall, aka Bull. Mall's character named Milo and his family are trying to force Daisy to marry him, which leads the Duke boys, of course, to come in for a rescue from the air using hang gliders. Notice there's no sign of anybody around other than the family, the preacher, and the Duke boys. Well, Luke has his hands full while Bo is fighting Milo. Eventually, Luke does come to help him out. Did you happen to see the ghosts that apparently were watching? Keep your eyes to the right. I've slowed it down just a bit. Now, when I first saw these people, I about had a heart attack. There's probably a logical explanation as to who these people are or what they're doing, besides being ghosts. It's just that I guess I have a vivid imagination. Believe it or not, some things are more scary and spooky than the Incredible Hulk himself. In the third season episode, Behind the Wheel, which aired back in 1979, David Banner is kidnapped and it's actress Esther Rawl who takes off to save him. Classic TV fans should recognize her as JJ's mom from Good Times. She's followed by Jack McGee, of course. Notice that Jack McGee is standing next to her cab and there doesn't appear to be anybody in the car with her. At least that we can tell. A little later, boom, this happens. It's very subtle, but but you can actually see a hand on the back of her seat pop out of nowhere. Is this a goof, or is there someone there ready to pounce on JJ's mom? Well, she arrives at the scene, and there's no indication that there's anybody in the back of the car now. It's very bizarre. There's no other indication or explanation in the episode. David hulks out. McGee almost gets in trouble with the Hulk. Hulk runs off into the sunset just as usual. Well, I guess it's time for me to ride off into the sunset. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a fun time with these scary goofs. Please don't forget to hit the like and talk about your favorite shows in the comments section. Look for lots more goofs in the next few weeks, including more Wild Wild West goofs and sliders.